Welcome back. We're going to cover the next lesson, which is the second part for this week on editing text. Now, I did go ahead and pre-check the Word file that we will be placing on our assignment for this week, and it was already in Arial. I think it was, the font was like 10 points, so we're going to be good to go. There should be no missing fonts or anything like that, so that's good. Here is our start file. We actually only have one spread of pages 2 and 3. All right, so this is actually it right here. If it opens in preview mode, you're just going to want to make sure that you switch over here into normal mode because you want to be able to see the columns and stuff that you're going to be working with. Here is the end file. So this is what this will look like when you are completely done. There will be no errors in the pre-flight panel. Okay, so everything should be good to go whenever you do your last save and get this submitted. So this lesson is super short chapter that focuses on text editing features such as search and replace, spell check, and tracking changes. I'm going to resave this. And this is going to be 07_text. Entering and importing text. You can type text directly into your document, or as you know, you can import text by going to File and Place. And of course, that includes files that were created in another app like Word. Okay, now to type text, obviously you need to use the type tool, and that keyboard shortcut is T on your keyboard. And then, of course, select an existing frame, or you can draw a new one. You can select a text path or even type right into a table cell. And we will be working with tables in an upcoming lesson that is titled Creating Tables. Right, so make sure that you are in normal mode. And mine are already enabled, but yours may not be. So you want to make sure that you go to View and Extras and make sure that this said Hide Frame Edges. If you see Show Frame Edges, you want to make sure you click that because you want to be able to see where the edges are. Mine's good to go, so just make sure that yours is as well. So with my type tool selected, I'm going to come over here into my headline. It says protecting your P's. And basically, we're just going to take off the ing, the ing, and delete that. Okay, so it'll now just say protect your P's. So I do not have any issues with not having the font that we're using. If you notice up here well, I'm going to have my type tool selected. If you notice up here in the top, it's Urbana. Okay, I have Urbana, installed in my font family, but for some reason, if you don't, and unfortunately you do get that substitute, replacement font. I mean, you could use Myriad Regular as a substitute. I didn't have that. It was actually part of my font family. So I'm hopeful that when you did open up 07_start that you didn't get that. Okay, so I just want to go on record for that. All right, so hopefully you have Urbana and your font is good to go. Now what I'm going to do is put my cursor right inside this first column. And I am going to turn off my hidden characters, my paragraph formatting characters here too, because I don't really want to work with them right now. So I'm going to go ahead and go to type on my menu bar and hide those hidden characters. If you don't mind them, you're welcome to leave them turned on. Okay. All right. File and Place. When the Place dialog box opens, just make sure that Replace Selected Item does have a check mark, but Show Import Options does not. You're going to choose 07 underscore gardening. That is a Microsoft Word document. Go ahead and click Open. And it flows the text automatically for us, which is great. I'm going to do an edit and select all. So I'm grabbing all of the text in those 3 columns. I'm going to open up my paragraph styles, and they have provided for us paragraph styles that have been created and saved. We want to apply the body paragraph. Now we do now have a pre-flight panel issue with one error, but when we are completely done, that will be resolved, and then there will be no errors down here. If by chance your body paragraph happens to have a plus sign out here, mine doesn't. If by some chance yours does, you can come down here and click this button. It says Clear Overrides and Selection, okay? And then it should be good to go. I'm going to put my cursor back in this first paragraph at the very top. Peas are easy to grow. And there is a first body paragraph style that I'm going to apply. And then that is including the drop cap of 3 lines. So this really is already looking better already. Finding and changing text and formatting. You can search and replace text and formatting in InDesign just like you would in other apps like Word. We worked with this in the last lesson with those double paragraph returns. So now we're going to get to work with that again today. So find and replace is a feature that helps to ensure accurate and consistent changes. So we need to go to Edit and Find and Change. Okay, so if yours still has in here basically anything from the previous lesson, all right, you can go ahead and just delete that out. All right, when I opened this up for the first time from the previous lesson, it still had the little caret mark in the P from taking out the double paragraph returns and changing that to the single, so you can just delete those out. The first thing that they're going to have us look for in Find What, this is going to be in text. Since I am putting my cursor at the very beginning, we want to go in a forward direction. And Find What, we're going to put in there for them to find the word bird. We want to change this to blackbird. Oops, I put blackboard in there. Blackbird, and this is something we're going to be changing here coming up in just a second, so I'll delete that out. So text, forward direction, find what bird, change to blackbird, and search in the story. All right, if we just click on find next and then change all, you can see here that 4 replacements were made. Okay, if I check in the book and see what they have here, I think they had in here that 4 replacements were also made whenever you did the whole Blackbird thing. I just want to double check. Yeah, that's step number 10 of that section. It does match that there were 4 replacements. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now what they're going to have us do next in this same little section is find and change formatting. All right, this is going to work the exact same way. We want to make sure that text is, the button is still selected. You can put your cursor at the very beginning of this article. I'm just going to put it right here. We're going to move in a forward direction, and we do want to make sure this says story. And we do want this time to select case sensitive. We're going to delete the word bird out and put in there tip with a capital T. Make sure you have a colon at the end. We are going to change this to tip all caps with a colon. You got to make sure that this stuff is put in right, or it'll tell you that no replacements were found. All right, if you get that message, then something is wrong. Okay, I promise it works. So we're going to find tip, okay, with a colon, change to tip all caps with a colon there. And then over here, we are going to be looking specifically for a format. So we can click this button. It says specify attributes to change. So when this change format settings opens, we can go to basic character formats. And we want to make sure that we put in here the font family as Minion Pro and the font style. They would like for us to change that to a bold. And then on character color, they want us to select purple cool. All right, now there is a screenshot in the book when you are working this section. Please make sure that your screenshot matches that on that page. All right, so it's got a really nice screenshot. You can even make sure. They're even telling us, notice the alert icon. If you just kind of hover over it, it says replace format exists. So we're going to do a find next, and you can see the word tip has been highlighted. It's actually tip with a colon on it, and it's just the capital T, so it's the title case. It's a mix of upper and lower. And then if we do a change all, this is where I have a difference in mine than what they have in the book. It indicates here that underneath that screenshot on step 13 that it indicates 2 changes were made. I always told you that I would give you a heads up if mine differed. I have 3. Okay, so if that's you and you have 3, it's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And if I click done and deselect off of this, I wanted to point out to you that now the word tip really stands out and it's nicely formatted to match the side of the page. See the 1, 2, and 3 instances of the word tip. I'm going to go ahead and do a Control S and save that. Text spelling. InDesign has a spell check feature like that of Word. You can check spelling in selected text, an entire story, or all the stories in a document, or all the stories in several open documents at the same time. Now that's convenient. You can also add words to your document's dictionary, have it flag possible misspelled words, and correct spelling as you type. This can be accessed by going to Edit and Spelling, and then the pop-out menu for that is Check Spelling. When you get over to that section of the text, there is a check spelling dynamically. Make sure you guys read over that when you get to that part. Automatically correcting misspelled words. Autocorrect, you all know what that is. It's a feature that will automatically correct misspelled words as you type them. It can be accessed by going to Edit and Preferences and Autocorrect. Okay, I think we all can agree, especially on our phones. Autocorrect can, yeah, that can be very interesting. All right, editing text by dragging and dropping. Instead of using cut and paste, InDesign allows you to drag and drop text within the same story, between frames, or between documents. To turn this feature on, you will need to go to Edit, Preferences, and Type. I leave mine turned on because I really do like this feature, but I wanted to show you where you can check to see if yours is on. You want to make sure drag and drop text editing is enabled in layout view and in story editor. We're getting ready to work with story editor here in just a few minutes. And mine is. What they're going to have us do is to select low calorie, including the comma behind it and the space. So I'm going to just come in here and select right up before the H. And watch this, once it's highlighted and selected, you can move it. Okay, that's pretty cool. I love drag and drop. I really do. And if I click off of it, there you have it. So you don't even have to cut and paste. Using the story editor. The story editor can help you with multiple text edits, help you rewrite a story, and even isolate text. Okay, so if you've never worked with story editor before, it's interesting. Let's take a look at it. I'm going to use my type tool and make sure that my type tool is over here, and I want to make sure I'm in the first paragraph of the third column that starts with follow crops. So I'm just going to put my cursor right here. I'll move it once I get my story editor open, but at least it gets us in the vicinity of where we need to be. Up on our menu bar at the top, we can go to Edit and Edit in Story Editor. So what that does is it basically takes all our lines of text and it assigns it a number. So it's like by the time we get over here, we are looking where my cursor is currently blinking after follow crops. You can see that I'm probably about line 166. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to find the sentence that starts with if the peas have been well enriched, 2 or 3 pounds of commercial fertilizer for each 100 feet of row will be sufficient for the second crop. I scroll down, that's probably going to be around, let's see, right here. I don't, what do you think that is? Maybe line 185, 187. So we're going to select this whole sentence and they're going to have us delete it. All right, so you're just going to highlight that and press delete. Okay, everything is going to reflow and move up. And I'm going to leave the story editor open. This is a super short lesson, and we're about to finish the lesson. It's that short. The last thing I want to talk about is tracking changes. There's tracking changes and adding notes. It is sometimes important to see what changes are being made to text throughout the design and review process. Being able to track these changes in addition to allowing others reviewing the text to suggest changes that another user can accept or reject is imperative. The story editor is also part of this process. I'm going to come up here on my menu bar and go to type, and I'm going to do track changes. And right here, track changes in this current story. So it's almost like it's recording, I guess you could say. So at the end right here is a second to the bottom paragraph. Okay, so it's like follow crops, recipe, and source. Right here is something, and we're going to use our type tool. My type tool is selected. I'm going to highlight this 7-layer salad, and I'm going to change this to balsamic pea. There we go. All right, so we can highlight and then we can change. And this is tracking all while it's doing it. I'm going to select the note tool. Okay, the note tool is over here in the tools panel. And I'm going to go ahead and select that. And right after the balsamic pea, do you see the cursor is blinking inside the 2 arrows facing on the inside here? You want to make sure your cursor is in there. And then they give us exactly what we need to type. We were unable to acquire the 7-layer salad recipe, and period. Great. So that is tracking changes, making a change, using the note to put in an additional sentence in there, adding a note into this. And now we're going to stop tracking and accept those changes. So back up on our menu bar at the top, I can go to track and track changes. And I'm going to do accept all changes in this story. And it's going to give you a warning. Are you sure you want to accept all of these changes in this story? And of course, I'm clicking OK. Now, when I do that, notice that all of the orange is gone. It has replaced the 7-layer salad with the balsamic pea. And then in between the 2 arrows, it shows a note has been added and that sentence has been included. All right, I am going to go ahead and close this out. I'm going to do a Control S and save. Notice that there are no errors at the bottom in the pre-flight panel, so we are good to go. And then I'm going to look at this in preview mode and just show you what this looks like in preview mode. Okay. Pretty good. All right. So super short lessons. Last lesson that we did, this is a two-parter this week. We did the flowing of text. And the second part of this week, this lesson was devoted to the editing of text. So we did some find and change. We went over spell check and autocorrect, and we enabled where we can drag and drop and move text around. And then, of course, we went in and did some changes and did the track of changes and worked with the story editor. So it's very short and sweet and to the point. So this officially ends this lesson. And now we are completely done with both lessons for this week. If you have any questions about anything, please just let me know.